Well, how about let's welcome our guest, and he's an old friend of the show. He's making a return. He's had a big thing happen to him this past week, and I'm happy he came on to talk about it. And maybe he should have done the Fantastic Voyage song. We'll have to talk about it. So let's welcome to the show our old friend, Mr. Damiano Christian. Damiano, how are you doing, my friend?
Hi, how are you, Bay?
Good, man. What's going on? I am here.
Cool. Nothing much. So you guys can hear me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. I wasn't sure.
So, you had this whole American Idol thing happen to you, and has it been kind of like it's had probably like a pretty wild ride? I mean, it's probably like, wow, 3 minutes on a major network can change things, huh?
Well, I thought it would change things, but I guess it hasn't been as big as I thought it would be, to be honest with you, and I'm actually kind of relieved, especially after what I saw them put on television, to be honest with you.
Gotcha.
But from what I've, I guess, like, yeah, there's been some sort of response, and it's just not as big as I guess I expected it to be. And I guess that also has to do with the fact that the show took a year off and now they're on a different network.
Right.
So I'm thinking that, this is like a brand new start for them, so they kind of got to build their way back up the pyramid, so to speak. It's kind of like starting a new band.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Like, well, first off, like, I remember when you first talked about going in on auditioning. I guess it was back in October. It was.
Yeah.
I was kind of shocked. Like, when you were saying you were going to do it, I was like, wow. Like, I wasn't picturing you going like an American Idol route.
Well, I mean, I didn't picture myself doing it either until, let's see. My mom actually, I guess, she kind of pushed me to do it. She's always handing me, auditions to do and whatnot, and I always turn them down, and I'm like, I don't want to waste my time. But then she, I came home and I saw, a piece of paper on my desk from the casting director of American Idol saying that they were really interested in me and they wanted me to come down for a VIP audition. So I was like, okay, maybe, something actually finally has to do with music. So she kind of pushed me to do it, and I was like, you know what, why the hell not? I always say no to anything my mother gives me. I might as well just say yes this one time and see what happens.
Right.
So
yeah, I never know. You take a chance.
Yeah, so I did the first audition, way back in, I think it was September. They have you do 2 auditions before you go on television. They make you go in front of their producers. So I did that up in Boston in like September, and they were doing like a bus tour.
Okay.
So when I went there was probably like 2,000 people waiting in line outside in the park in Boston.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So luckily with that VIP audition, they were like, all you got to do is give them the passphrase. They let you go up to the front at the time you're given, and you don't have to wait in line. You can just audition.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I was like, I was dressed the same way you saw me on TV for that producer audition, and I was like, you know what, they're probably going to say no. I'm doing rock. This show is for people who are doing pop music, modern, or country and R&B. But I went up. I did the song I had been doing was Home Sweet Home by Motley Crue, and I did the song, and the guy looks at me, and I'm like, yep, he's gonna tell me no. But then all of a sudden, he just takes out a Sharpie and starts writing on the golden ticket. I'm like, you can't be serious.
Wow.
So that producer put me through, and I was like, I almost wanted to question him and be like, you're not serious, right? But I just kept my mouth shut and took it. And for the rest of the day, for like the next 4 hours, they did a bunch of filming, and then they kind of, with an extra producer on site, they like took down all my information, basically my whole background. You know, it was almost like, you know, an interview with the Secret Service. You know, like, what do your parents do? When were you born?
Oh, really?
All that jazz. Yeah. Yeah, and then the second, you know, audition before TV was their executive producer. And I did that the following week, did the same song. And the executive producer was like, we really like you. You're the only dude doing this rock thing, and it very well. And we want you to come audition on television in front of the judges. We think they'll really like you. And, you know, we love the jacket, the hair. So I was like, okay, you know, things are looking good. And then after that, the whole week of the audition, it kind of started to just spiral downhill. Yeah, there's so many things that was just...
You did a different song on the one they aired on TV. You did More Than a Feeling from Boston. Was that your idea to change the song, or...?
No, that was not my idea to change the song, actually. So what they do is, now, mind you, I was fairly new to the whole television side of things.
Sure.
So what happened was, the casting director who had been talking to my mom in California, she called me, and she flat out said, look, if you're going to audition on TV, the song you're auditioning with needs to be cleared by the artist. If it's not cleared by the artist, you can't do it on TV due to copyright stuff, and we have to pay the artist royalties, all the legal stuff that is involved with it. So she said that her music director was going to, you know, check if the song can be cleared, and they don't see why it wouldn't be cleared, that it's been used before in the past. But in case it's not, do you have any other songs prepared? So I said, yeah, I have I'll Never Let You Go by Steelheart and 18 in Life by Skid Row. She kind of also gave me a sort of criteria that the show wanted. They kind of wanted to create a character around me more so than have it be real. They wanted me to be this 80s rock guy who did 80s ballads and can sing really high like the guy from Steelheart or like Sebastian Bach.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, you know, not really much room to be myself, I guess, even though I guess I kind of threw myself down that route. But she said, I gave her the Steelheart tune and Skid Row, and she's like, well, that they will check if those can be cleared too, just in case Home Sweet Home isn't. Now, this is like let's see, I want to say this all happened on a Wednesday or Thursday. Fast forward to like Saturday night, and mind you, I have to go audition on Wednesday, so I have like 3 days left, and I still haven't been told anything on if the song has been cleared or not. So she calls me Saturday night and finally tells me that Motley Crue said no to using their song Home Sweet Home. So I'm like, okay, what about the other two? And she's like, we still haven't heard back from Skid Row or the people who own the rights to the Steelheart songs, so I'm going to have to wait on that. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do if these songs don't get cleared? Like, what's my backup plan? You guys are the ones calling the shots here. And she basically told me that she didn't know what I would have to do, that I can't do a song on TV if it is not cleared by the artist. So I'm like, okay, thanks for the help, kindly. But in the back of my head, I'm like, you know what, you're really screwing me over here.
Sure.
Fast forward to Monday. She contacts me and finally decides to tell me that American Idol has a list of pre-approved songs. So I'm like, why didn't you guys tell me this last week?
Right.
And that kind of ticked me off a bit. So I'm like, okay, now I got to go through a list of like 300 songs that they have approved already and see which ones that I know or I'm familiar with. And the only one that really caught my eye was More Than a Feeling by Boston. And then she's like, we still haven't heard from Skid Row or Steelheart, so do you have any others? So I'm like, a friend of mine had told me I should do Love Bites by Def Leppard, and she's like, okay, let me get back to you. And like within 5 minutes, she got back and said that the Def Leppard song was cleared. So I'm like, okay, I'll use Boston and Def Leppard as my backup.
Okay.
And then that same day, Monday, she also tells me that, or no, not Monday, fast forward to Tuesday. Tuesday is their first day of auditions. I have to go on Wednesday, so I have a day left. And she calls me saying that you might have to do the 2 approved songs. We still haven't heard from Skid Row or Steelheart. But today, right before a girl went in to the audition, she got told that the song she had prepared got cleared. So you could literally find out at the last minute if the songs you have prepared and have been practicing for, who knows how long.
Right.
You could find out at the last minute if they get cleared or not.
So it sounds like they totally play around with everybody and.
Oh yeah, they do everything last minute, and they really, play around with you, and it's not a tightly run ship. Let me put it that way. But when you're on set, it's a totally different story. They all know what they're doing, and they know what they want to do, and they have everything planned out. So it's like the team in New York has a totally different, professionalism around them compared to what the hell they're doing in California. So yeah, Wednesday I went. Call time was at 6:00 in the morning, so that meant I had to be up at 4:30 in the morning in New York. Okay. We were in a hotel across from Madison Square Garden, and they made you all sign waivers that you can't tell anybody you're going to be here. You can't post it on the internet. You can't tell any news outlets that you're going to be on American Idol here in New York at this location. So we're across from Madison Square Garden at Hotel Pennsylvania up in their convention center.
Okay.
And that was kind of like the waiting room. We had to wait. We started waiting in line at 6 in the morning. They didn't let us in till like 7:30, close to 8. And during that time, they're putting everybody into lines by who came by themselves and who came with like what they called, a cheer squad of friends and whatnot.
Okay.
And then they had us sign waivers. I brought my dad with me, and he's like, I almost don't want to sign this waiver because it says on it that they have the right to humiliate you on television.
What?
Yeah, that's what the waiver said. So and it was like 5 pages long, and you had to sign like 3 pages out of the 5. So yeah, that's how like the start of the day went. If you kind of want the long story.
At any point as this was going on, did you think to yourself like it like no, like if this isn't worth it, like I'm just not going to go, or?
Well, let's see. I actually went to New York the night before Tuesday and slept over, but during most of the day I was like, I kind of just want to go home. There's really no point in me being here, and the whole day I was just kind of like, I want to say I was doubting myself because I had seen the show before, and I kind of knew there's this stigma around the show that they're looking for the next pop star to push on everybody, and
Right.
that they're going to basically blackball anybody who does rock and roll or metal, whatever genre you want to call it. But, like, even, during, like, the previous days before I went to New York, I was kind of like, you know what? If they don't tell me my song's here, I'm not going to show up. So
Right.
but I ended up, you know what? I was like, I'm going to just go, give it a shot, see what happens. But, yeah, I mean, I did, there was a couple times I was like, I just want to leave, go home, and not even, face what I have to face in the next few hours. So,
Did
it was
you feel
a
at
lot
any
of...
time? Did you feel at any time, because you are a rocker, like, did they kind of, I don't want to say maybe look down at you, like before even you got to the audition, but going through this whole process, that they kind of like were giving you a runaround, maybe because you were, a quote unquote rocker?
Well, before the whole, not giving me a straight answer thing about the songs, both producers seemed very thrilled about me being there, and that, they thought I was going to get put through because I was the only one doing what I was actually doing. So
Right.
I was told. The more I started to experience how things run and how things work, the more I started to feel that, they kind of look down on people who either one, don't fit their agenda, or two, don't meet their criteria of what they are looking for.
Right.
So it took a while for me to kind of figure that out. It was like not until I didn't figure that out until I was actually there for a couple hours.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, for the whole experience before that, I was like, you know what, this could actually be good. It's on a different network. It's a different set of judges. Maybe there. But I mean, in the past, they took guys like Adam Lambert, James Durbin, who now sings for Quiet Riot.
Sure.
There was another kid after him who even won the show doing rock. He was this heavy set kid with longish hair, but I remember he like won one of the last seasons before they ended up calling it quits. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I do have a chance doing rock and roll, but
sure.
Yeah, you don't find out a lot of things until you're actually there in the moment, and then the light bulb clicks, and you're like, aha.
You actually, I mean, you kind of see that on your face though. Like after you do the audition, you kind of see that your look on your face is kind of like shit. Like why am I here now? Like why did I do that?
Yeah, I mean, during the audition, I was kind of like, I kind of did give off that vibe, like, yeah, I knew this was going to happen. Because the whole day, in the back of my head, I was like, they're going to tell me no because I do rock, and they'll probably tell me some crap that I'm stuck in the 80s, or that, I need to, be relevant and be in the present. But when I was there, I'll give you, like, the short overview. Most of the day was filming more than the actual audition that I did.
Okay.
I started filming at 8. I didn't do my audition until 4:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, jeez.
So I waited a whole day to go in and do my audition. Now, around 10:30 in the morning, the executive producer wanted all of us to rehearse what we were going to do in front of the judges. And they're telling us, we want you to do well. We don't want you to do bad. So I rehearsed in front of him and the music director, and he's like, dude, that's amazing. That's great. And he's like, I'm going to be honest with you. The judges had been seeing, he says, the judges have been seeing the same old, he quoted it as shoe shine music the whole day and the previous day. So he basically called pop music and modern music, shoe shine music. And he said that you're the only one here doing rock and roll and that can sing like this, and the judges, I think, will really like you. You're gonna do your audition later in the day, so they'll be coming back from lunch all refreshed, and I really think they're gonna like you. So this is at 10:30 in the morning. So I'm like, okay, cool. Thanks for the reassurance, I guess. And after that, more filming, and then around 4:30, they're like, okay, they're ready to see you next, so wait a few minutes here, and then we'll walk you across the street into Madison Square Garden. Now, if you're not doing something on set, they are filming you, no matter what you do. The whole day is filmed. So I walk over there, we go up the stairs, did an interview with Ryan Seacrest, and, you know, in Madison Square Garden, you can see everything that's going on. Like, they have a whole TV screen with, like, 10 different camera angles on it, and Ryan's watching all the camera angles. You know, they have, like, 2 armed police guards in there.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was, and they got the whole film crew there. So 4:30, I walk in, I do the audition, and I'll say this: what you saw on TV was about a quarter of what I actually did in the audition.
That sucks. I had an experience a couple of years back with a TV show, and everything you're telling me is just reminding me of that horrible experience. And
yeah.
So what else did you get? Did you get to do your other song, or?
Well, I did the first song, and so the first song ended up being the Boston tune, More Than a Feeling, and what happened was, I guess, let's see, it was so long ago that it's like I try to keep track of everything that they said to me. I should have wrote it down. But, like, in general terms, you know, Luke Bryan was the first one to say something, and he said that it reminded him of being in a time capsule. Like, you know, I guess from what I saw on TV, they showed him saying how it reminded him of being at the roller skating rink. I really don't remember him saying that.
Okay.
But I remember the whole time capsule thing. And he kind of made that a laughing point. And then Katy Perry says that, you know, if I was auditioning for the lead in a 70s or 80s rock movie, like, for example, Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg, that I would totally get the lead in it. And then Lionel Richie kind of just shook his head and agreed. And then they started, you know, to ask me more about myself. They wanted to get to know me. So I mentioned, you know, I want to make it as a rock musician, that sadly there's no one really serious my age that has the drive or energy to do it. So I play with a lot of people that are 20 years older than me. And Luke Bryan kind of poked fun at that a little bit. So then they wanted to vote. Lionel wanted to hear me do one more song. And I did the Def Leppard tune. Now, they said that the judges weren't going to stop you during your songs. You had to stop yourself and condense everything to 90 seconds.
Okay.
So I did the first 3 lines of Love Bites, and to my surprise, he stopped me. So I wasn't prepared for it, because the judges said, not the judges, the producers and everybody on the crew said that they weren't going to stop us. They actually had a huge announcement at the beginning of the day telling us how things were going to work in the audition. He stopped me, and then he proceeded to say that, now they didn't show this on TV, but he proceeded to say that I was limiting myself as a musician and that I had to work on finding my own identity. And then Luke Bryan chipped in saying that, you know, basically I need to, I should start writing some of my own songs. And then Katy Perry said that I was still young at 19 and that I still had ways to go. And back to the whole, I'm limiting myself doing 80s rock, really that if you want to make it somewhere, you can't be doing what you're doing is basically what they tried to say. And on those bases, they said no because of those three things: locking yourself in a time capsule, limiting yourself as a musician, and needing to find your own identity. So I was like, okay, thanks, and I was very nice about it. I wasn't, a couple times I could tell they wanted me to kind of have what I call the Axl Rose rock star attitude.
Right.
Basically, fuck everybody, and I didn't want to act like that. I didn't want to
Sure.
make a fool out of myself. So they said no on those three reasons. It really had nothing to do about the singing.
I was going to say, do you think they? I mean, do you think they even kind of totally pigeonholed you into that whole thing before, just judging you by your looks instead of you singing?
Oh yeah, definitely. Even before that, when I was, like I mentioned with the casting director earlier, how she kind of set the mood of what they wanted to portray me as, this 80s rock guy who does 80s rock ballads, who can sing all the high notes and whatnot. I really do think they even pigeonholed me before I even got there. I really do think, too, that they had all set who was going through and who wasn't going through before anybody got there.
Oh, sure, sure.
And then it's like I go and watch the video, and I'm like, there's no way that happened in the audition, the way that they put it together.
Right.
They made it seem like on TV that it was something that was bad. But when I was in there, they were all totally nice to me and kind to me, and that, even, Luke Bryan said that I had all the tools, I just need to know how to use them. But then you see it on TV and they put it together like, from what I saw, some dude who has no talent and this, this hack wannabe that just wants to be a rock star, I guess, like that Worms kid they showed on the very first episode.
Right.
But yeah.
Now, being there actually in the moment, was it hard for you to not to the actual audition process, but just to be judged? Was it hard for you just to stand there and be judged by these people?
Not really, no. I mean, I'm used to it, I mean, you see the stuff I post on Facebook, and I'm used to people saying and speaking their minds, whether that's on Facebook or in person. I'm used to being judged on something that I love to do. So
right.
it wasn't really, it wasn't really, I guess, intimidating or, nerve-wracking. I kind of just treated it like, I'm on Facebook. These people are behind their keyboards and just speaking their mind,
right,
sort of thing. But I guess the harder thing was actually more so performing in front of people who have been in the business for 20 years, and one of them, whose name I won't mention, that probably is used to hearing so much auto-tune in the studio and live that that's all that judge probably knows and thinks is good singing is auto-tune. So, which you can obviously tell in in the edited versions that they've put up on YouTube and on TV that, you know, they've obviously toyed with each contestant's voice.
Right.
After the fact. Because I went and listened to it, and I'm like, yeah, even though I'm mic'd, there's no effects on a normal speaking camera mic that I know of. And I just go and listen to it, and I'm like, I know how my voice sounds. My voice does not sound like that.
Right.
But yeah.
So after you watched it, what were your thoughts?
Well, I actually didn't even know it was going to be on TV. They sent out 2 emails the first 2 weekends that the auditions were on, saying that we will call you if your audition airs. If we don't call you, please hold on posting anything on social media about whether you got through or not. They never called me. And then I hear that they showed my audition, the whole thing, on TV, and I'm like, you know, so much for those 2 emails saying that they will call contestants if their audition airs. So I didn't even watch it. I ended up, I think my dad recorded it, or I saw it on YouTube. They did a recap of they put up recaps on a YouTube page of all the auditions that were aired.
Oh, okay.
So I watched it there, and my initial thoughts were, one, they put it out in a way to make a fool out of me and embarrass me. And 2, that you can tell it is very heavily edited from, 1, the arrangements of the songs, and 2, the pitch, tone, you know, basically the recording of each person's voice. Because when I was in there, I did not start More Than a Feeling with the chorus. I actually started from the beginning of the song. So they showed me singing halfway through the song. They didn't even show the whole thing. And then what's even more funny is, you know, they put out an article a couple days before the last episode of Audition, so like last Wednesday, saying that they were not going to be showing any bad auditions or auditions where they are humiliating or making fun of anybody. That, you know, that was the old network and this is the new one. And even one of the producers made a comment saying that they did not want to mock or humiliate any people who were bad, and that, you know, they basically called people, you know, that they've mocked before mentally unstable. Like, those are the words this producer used, that you know, there's people who are mentally unstable and that they don't want to, I guess, make a fool out of them on TV, because with the way today is, if they did, that person could easily, you know, do something to themselves and then blame American Idol for it.
Sure.
And then there'd be a huge lawsuit. So I can see why they put that article out. But then, you know, they put my audition out and they do that to me, and I'm like, really? Totally contradicts everything they said they weren't going to do.
Oh, man.
But yeah, seeing that heavily edited audition and the way they messed with my voice is just, you know, 1, it's sad. 2, you know, it's basically painting an image for people who've never met me before and making them believe I'm something that I'm not. Because I'll be honest with you, I went through and I read all the comments on the video that has 30,000 plus views of them making an asshole out of me. And you got people thinking that I'm narcissistic, that I have no talent, that I suck at singing, I'm tone deaf, that, you know, I don't amount to anything, that they feel bad for me, that, you know, I shouldn't be, you know, be stuck in the 80s sort of thing. But that's only half of what's happened so far, what I call the backlash of it all. There's a lot more stuff that I've seen happen online that they have been controlling and monitoring to make sure that they don't look bad.
Oh, I'm sure. They have people who just One recommendation I'm going to do, and I do this for myself and anybody, whenever there's a situation like that, and it can lead to where people can post comments, never, ever, ever read the comments, because people are just ugly, nasty people and say the meanest things, and I never read the comments just because of that reason. I learned that lesson early on. So please don't read no more, because these people, whatever, they don't matter.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I kind of realize that now. I mean, I'm so used to reading comments on my Facebook videos that I was like, let's see what happened. And I'll be honest with you, even a couple of my friends told me that they thought that the comments were split down 50-50. There were even some people who thought that I was actually decent from what they showed, and that I should have been given a second chance, or that, another person said, God forbid somebody actually sings decent music that has meaning to it and isn't just auto-tune and garbage.
Right.
And then another person said that, I guess, that the judges must only think that good music is stuff that's auto-tuned and doesn't require actual talent. So it was kind of split down 50-50, but a couple of my friends and my family actually did some, commenting of their own, replying to people on this video that was put out of the recap. And they noticed within an hour that their comments of videos of me actually playing and showing what I can do, all their comments replying to these people who were saying nasty shit were removed.
Yep.
So,
oh yeah.
Even my mother, her comments were removed. She went and did it under a different username. Her comments were removed. My sister's comments were removed. A bunch of my friends' comments were removed. So we came to the conclusion that, American Idol's obviously heavily monitoring these videos and who comments what on them.
Yep.
And that they're probably the ones removing any comments that are making a person look bad or good, depending on what the agenda is per person. And there was even a video taken down by American Idol for copyright issues because all the comments were basically calling out American Idol for editing the videos and toying with people's voices. Even downright to the news articles that I've seen been published on the internet where, we all know how in music the news articles work. You have a publicist, and that publicist sends out an already written article to all of these media outlets to publish. And they all kind of say the same thing. Damiano Scarfi, they actually used my real last name instead of Christian, and saying that, 19-year-old rocker stuck in the 80s, voice was horrific, we liked him until he opened his mouth, all that sort of stuff. And, you can tell that they're heavily influencing and monitoring anything that has to do with social media. From deleting comments to, even putting up comments of their own. So it's a very crazy, crazy business and way of running things.
Absolutely. Now what? Now that this is all, done and in the past for you, what has been like your family and friends' reaction? Like after they saw, were they like, maybe you shouldn't have done it?
Well, my parents keep telling me that I guess any publicity is good publicity, whether it's good or bad. That
Absolutely.
I still got my name out there and people still, I guess, saw me perform. Personally, I always ask my parents for the truth. And they both thought that, one, I could have done better, and two, that I should have went in with a song that was more, that I had more prepared, instead of, what they kind of put me through with the song choice. Which, by the way, here's the kicker. When I left the audition and I'm right outside the door leaving the building, I get 2 texts on my phone saying that the songs I had prepared by Skid Row and Steelheart had been cleared by the artist, so I could have performed them. So they waited till I was out of the audition to tell me that the songs were cleared. But yeah, my parents and my friends, from what I've noticed from my friends, they've actually really have all been supportive of me, and they actually thought I did good and that the judges were really rude to me and that they should have put me through, being the only rock guy there. And there's actually, within my own state of Connecticut, I've already been in the Hartford Courant, where they actually sort of talked very positively of me. And, I really think, my parents have, and my friends have, they really think that, that I should have done it, that it was good of me for actually going and doing it and representing a whole community of people who still listen and actually play this kind of music.
Sure.
But everything I've seen from, friends, people have known me through what I've done on Facebook and YouTube so far, they've all actually been supportive of me, and they actually, praise me in a way for actually going up there and being myself and not trying to be, conforming to the current pop trend or whatever you want to call what people are doing nowadays. They actually, they're glad that I went up there and did what I'm experienced with.
I mean, dude, you are a truly amazingly talented person, and whether it's guitar, piano, I mean, you just ooze musical talent, and
Thank you.
the whole American Idol thing. I exactly what your parents said is whether it's good or bad publicity, it's worth it. And you got 3 minutes and 24 seconds on ABC.
Yeah.
That's worth millions of dollars. And I would just look at it like that, like, yep, I got 3 minutes on ABC, and there you go.
Exactly. Yeah. That's actually the really cool thing about it is, even though they try to block rock and roll from being on their show, period, I still got 3 minutes and 24 seconds on national television. But what's sad is they talk about, I've seen a lot of the auditions, and what they didn't show them saying to me, I saw them saying to a lot of people that they said no to, such as they have to work on finding their identity and that they're limiting themselves. If anything, that show is they're limiting themselves by only taking certain types of music or certain types of people who only do the genres they do, which are pop, R&B, and country. The sad thing is that they are not being accepting of anybody who does anything other than their vision. I was watching an audition from the week before me, this really preppy kid, dressed kind of preppy-ish, I want to say, almost like a skater guy. He went on and sang Grinder by Judas Priest, and he was actually freaking amazing. And the judges didn't even judge him. They just said no, without any sort of feedback or critique. Luke and Katie both said no. Lionel didn't say anything, and I was like, "Are you serious? You just let somebody that good go because he's doing rock?" And I've even noticed with Katie, anytime there's been a rock person on, she sort of mimics them, or she'll, in a low-key or indirect way kind of poke fun at them.
Yeah.
Like this kid, she was like putting up the devil horns and putting her tongue out like she's Gene Simmons and trying to bang her head, and I was like, you know what, the kid sings better than you. Who are you to act like that? So it's just really sad that if it's not trending or if it's not popular, that you get stonewalled or blackballed. Now, mind you, these are big Hollywood people who are big on acceptance and being diverse and being, lenient or whatever you want to call it on other people's views. But when it comes to music, if you do something that is different, they basically tell you no and try to rip you apart.
Right.
So,
but I mean, going back to what you're doing now, I mean, you're playing in how many different projects now? I mean, you do the Ozzy Randy tribute, Ozzy America. You have was it Rat Poison?
Yeah, Rat Poison's like the weekend cover band that I do, and then I'm still with Sacred Oath. We actually, I think that got announced after I was on your show last year. That got announced in like May. And with Sacred Oath, I mean, I love being in that band, even though I didn't play on any of the material. To me, it's still original. I don't feel like I'm playing covers.
Mm-hmm.
And for this year, I mean, I've already done one leg of a tour with them last year, which was amazing. And we're doing the second half of this year. And in May, we're actually going to film a music video for the new album, 12 Bells. And we're supposed to cut a live album in the summer and then play I think it was called some sort of like old school heavy metal Legends of Metal festival up in Ohio in like October.
Okay.
So with them, it's been very fun, and American Idol is a lot different from what I had envisioned to do musically. I mean, musically, I really want to go like the hired gun route, like Rudy Sarzo, who played with Ozzy.
Sure.
Where, you play with a small, band that somewhat tours, and then a bigger band sees you and you get hired by them, and then the cycle continues till you're in this really big band.
Right.
So I got that going, and then recently I decided that I wanted to join a 80s dance pop band, so to speak.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, which a lot of people have kind of had mixed feelings on, so to speak. I've been told that, don't sell yourself out at 19 and play 80s dance music, but that's the type of stuff my uncle did, and, he was playing Thursday through Sunday night, making $500 a night with a dance band, so that's $2,000 a week, and he was telling me, yep, I was able to buy all the gear I wanted every month. So I want to do things that, one, make money, and two, are going to progress a career,
Right.
Sometimes you got to sell yourself out to do that. And it sucks, but it's the way it works.
Yeah, I mean the way the music business is now, it's very hard to make money in the business. So it's a lot of finding your way is a big part of it. And at the end of the day, whatever musically is going to make you happy, that's what matters. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. And with as of lately, I know I've been thinking, it's like, so far the current trend is you're either doing rap, pop, or country. And to me, I've seen the biggest one is rap, and that's like the one I despise the most, being a musician. But after being on American Idol, and then some of that stuff actually kind of hit me hard. What they said, being stuck in the '80s, locking myself in a time capsule. So I'm like, what, if this is what everybody likes, maybe I got to be the first person to play ball and figure out how I'm going to infuse what I love to do into what, a good percentage of the population is into.
Right.
And I guess, what kind of inspired me was the only person who's done it was Eddie Van Halen and Michael Jackson. That was the only time you ever heard a shredder play with someone who's doing pop or something close to rap. So that's kind of the idea I've been trying to get around to. Like, what, maybe I just got to find some really good kid who can rap and be like, what, take all my guitar stuff and see what you can do over it and try to recreate that. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but...
Bottom line, just keep making music. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's all that matters. Which, actually, you sent me a song for us to play. Now, what's this? This song is called Society Slave. Now, this is a new original from you?
Yeah, it is. What's funny about that is, when I first was on the show, we did Built in Good Value, which was an EP. That EP was actually supposed to be a full-length album. But when we started working with the publicist, the thing kind of got caught around that. It's like, you're just starting, do an EP first before, you do a full-length album. So I did the full-length album after that, At Your Majesty's Pleasure, and I was like, well, I got a couple of the songs lying around that didn't make the cut for the EP. They're all mastered, and they're all complete, so why not pass them off as new songs, especially if nobody's heard them before except for myself. So we put that on the new album, At Your Majesty's Pleasure, with the songs that were on the EP, and then 2 more tunes that were new. But yeah, Society Slave was one I actually wanted to be on the EP because I feel like it showed off a lot more of my soloing capability at the end of it. But I've always liked the song, and I figured, what the hell, I can do what I want now. I'm past the EP, and I'm my own person, and I'm gonna call the shots.
Well, there you go. Cool. Well, let's do this. Let's put all the plugs out there because I want to get the song in before we go off air at 11 o'clock. This way it doesn't get cut off. So let's get all your plugs out there, and then I'm going to play the song. And this way we'll get it all in before 11. So fire away. What's those plugs in?
So what we have here is Society Slave by Damiano Christian. That's off the new album At Your Majesty's Pleasure, which you can find on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, you name it. Please go on the Damiano Christian Facebook page and hit a like and follow us, so that way you can get all of our notifications and updates on everything that's going on. go on Instagram, Damiano_Christian, to see all my guitar shredalicious videos, and on YouTube, Damiano Christian. And if you want, go on YouTube and look up Damiano Scarfi on American Idol under Talent Recap, and try to break the monitoring system that they have.
I love it. I love it. Damiano,
Yeah.
always a pleasure catching up with you. Keep that music going.
No problem.
Keep the music alive. And, break the mold. Keep rocking, my friend. And let's
problem. Thank you, Bay.
For everyone. Take care and say hi to the family for me.
You too, I will, Bay. Thank you for having me on.
Always. Take care.
You too, man.
Bye. All right, well, here he is, Damiano Christian, Society Slave. And there he is, Damiano Christian with Society Slave. The dude is amazing freaking musician. He really is. I felt so bad after watching that American Idol thing for him. He's a good dude, talented individual. He's going to find his way in music.
It sounds like it was a really shitty time.
It really does. I was just flashing back to that whole thing that happened to me. It reminded me of.
Oh, you don't need to think of that.
Oh, man.
It really, honestly, it kind of scares you into believing that, these networks are keeping you from seeing rock and roll music. It might be more popular than we think, but if nobody's showing it,
how would you ever know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so they're kind of setting the pace of what is popular or not. That's why I've always never watched those shows, because has nothing to do with your talent. It's a popularity contest.
Oh, totally.
It's who they can get to be more popular at the end of it, because the fans are voting for you. That's how that kid, that was such a piece of shit, but he kept changing his fucking hairstyle, how he stayed on there for 6 months, because those people are stupid and voted for his ass every time.
Which one was this? You remember his name?
I forget that. Yeah, no, I don't watch it. The only reason I heard about it was they did some news piece on it while it was happening. Like, yeah, we can't believe this kid is still on here. The people are voting for him. I forget his name, but he was terrible. But, doesn't mean terrible people resonate, terrible, stars resonate with people sometimes. Look at Hulk Hogan. Couldn't work his way out of a wet paper bag. Didn't have to.
No, he didn't have to.
So, people are not the actual greatest judge of talent. It really is sad sometimes.
I'll tell you what, like, you watch that audition, and you literally see the look on the judge's face. Well, first off, the 3 judges, they have no personality. They really have no personality, and they looked lost. They were confused. Like, they didn't know, like, what to take at them. Really, it was a really awkward thing to watch.
I don't watch either. I really don't. There's just, there's no call. I barely get to watch the shows I want to watch. We're going to waste time watching that.